Welcome to part 3, where we will learn to macerate, extract, and purify the DNA. I'm Lucinda McKenzie, and here's my friend Oscar, the fire ant. Okay, so in video 2 we went through step 5, so for video 3 we pick up with the protocol step 6 and we'll go through 11. So if you're looking at step number 6 on your protocol, it says to macerate your insect in the distilled water. So these are the macerators that you made in the beginning of the rodeo. And so find the insect and use your macerator to pin that insect to the wall and just scrape it and try to break it into as many pieces. The exoskeleton, try to break it into as many pieces as possible. Usually it's hard for students to know how much time they need to spend doing this. Well, roughly, I'd say maybe a minute, because sometimes the insects are tricky and it's hard to actually get a good grip on them. Usually you can tell if you've broken down tissue and you've done a good job with the exoskeleton. It should be in more than one piece. You may even see a white hemolymph, which just means that's the insides of the insect. So just do the best you can. Sometimes I cannot even tell you if you've done enough, but maybe for about a minute. After you've finished macerating the insect, breaking up the exoskeleton as much as possible, it says to add Instagene immediately. Now don't have an anxiety attack. Everything's going to be okay. You can get your Instagene, and remember the Instagene, very important. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. You may be too young to even know what a Polaroid picture is. I'm not sure. So shake it, and then how much do you need? 200 microliters. 200 microliters. So using your P200, make sure it is set on 200. It should read 200. So once you dial that up, make sure you lock it in. Go ahead and get your tip. 200, only going to the first stop. It still looks like it's suspended, but I'm going to shake it like a Polaroid picture one more time, okay? First stop in the Instagene, slowly retrieving it, close it, add it to your insect. Now remember, the purpose of the Instagene was to chelate the magnesium ions, because once the cell and the nuclear membranes are ruptured, DNases, enzymes that will cut up your DNA, may come in contact with it, but they can't do it if they don't have their little helper, the cofactor magnesium ion. So we're going into different tubes, so pop the tip because you'll have different insects. You don't want to contaminate anything. So once you've added the Instagene, it says that you're supposed to vortex for 30 seconds. Okay, this is a vortexer. It just creates a miniature tornado. Once you turn it on, let the vortexer do the work. You do not have to push down really hard. Just stabilize it, and you do it for 30 seconds. Remember, your insect is like Dorothy. You want to send Dorothy to the land of Oz. You should see a miniature tornado inside your tube. And depending on what type of vortexer you have, you can have more than one student doing this, but it should be about 30 seconds. Probably even a good time to maybe meet some of the other students that are at the rodeo. Yes, I think Dorothy and Toto have definitely headed to the land of Oz. So after 30 seconds, you can take your tube, making sure that you follow your protocol, because I don't want to do anything wrong for the video. Vortex samples for 30 seconds, and then place them, water bath or dry bath. We happen to have a dry bath. Notice that it is now up to 99 degrees. You can definitely feel the heat. How long does it need to be in the dry bath? For 10 minutes. So you would do this for every insect that you have. After you add the Instagene, well, you macerate, add the Instagene, vortex, and put it over here. So I would be doing the other 4 After I finish the other 4, you can throw away. Now remember, I pretend like I've done the other 4. They're over here. After you've completed this, if you look, let's see, on number 9, place samples in the dry bath for 10 minutes, discard macerators and toothpicks while you're waiting. Uh-oh, Oscar's little flame's about to go out. So you can discard these now because you are through macerating. Help to clean up your table. You're actually through with your paper towel. Now we need to get ready for our new samples. So the other 5 tubes that you have, now would be a good time to label them. So if you're looking at number 9, cell lysis, this temperature is 99 degrees Celsius, almost boiling. The heat is being used to rupture the cell membranes. So while cell lysis is taking place, you can go through and label all of your tubes. I've got an ant, I've got a flea, I've got a mosquito. I hope it's an Aedes albopictus with the little stripe down its thorax, the little Asian tiger, but it may be a culex or it may be an anopheles. Nasonia negative, Nasonia positive. So you can get those labeled. Okay, and after you finish labeling, let's pretend like, okay, 10 minutes are up to save time and to save your data. Okay, talk about your internet data. While removing the tubes, after removing the tubes, we're supposed to take them and place them in the microcentrifuge. Well, I only have one. Ooh, let's get that vortex out of the way. Here we go. I always put them in the same way. For example, I have the hinge pointing out. If I did the remaining 4, I have 1 slot left open. Is that okay? No. You always make sure everything is balanced in a microfuge. That baby's going to be spinning at 14,000 rounds per minute. You do not want it off balance. You just get an empty tube, put some water in it of about the same volume, balance it, and then it's supposed to run for 10 minutes. Sometimes you have those a little bit older. They might not quite be as quiet as others, so you might want somebody to hold it. Little Oscar's flame's coming back. Okay, say time's up. Let's stop it. As I pull this out, this is the one with the ant. I can see that there is a pellet that has formed at the bottom on the same side as the hinge. I can see the exoskeleton. Remember, what you want is the purified DNA found in the supernatant, sort of like Superman flying up at the top. How much do you need to get? You need 50 microliters. Avoid the pellet of instagene. We do not want instagene to go any farther than this step. We definitely do not want it proceeding to the PCR step. Okay, so I need 50 microliters. So I got to dial this down to 50. What will it show in the screen of numbers? It will show 0, 5, 0. 0, 5, 0. That's on a P200. 0, 5, 0. And of course, having other people helping you, they could have already had that dialed for you. That would have been great. 050, 50 microliters. I'm going to get just the supernatant, going to the first stop only, just beneath the surface, closing this off. My newly labeled tube, which will store purified DNA, 50 microliters. Pop the tip. You now have your 50 microliters, which will continue on to the next step of PCR. You would do the same thing for the remaining 4 tubes. And if you look at step 11, now that you have 50 microliters of purified DNA, you may discard all of the old ones with the exoskeleton and just put them in your waste beaker. Okay, wishing you the best, hoping that you have some DNA in your supernatant and that you'll be ready to move on to the next step, which is PCR. So hope you've been studying your PCR song. Polymerase chain reaction needs tag polymerase to amplify. And remember, tag polymerase is an enzyme who needs his cofactor. So if the instagenes chelating pellets go farther, they will tie up magnesium and tag polymerase will not be able to work. Not good. Again, Lucinda McKenzie, Oscar the Fire Ant.